Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern Ned Reynolds in the studio. It is a Red Friday. The past week has been real cool to watch all of baseball's best get a ton of hardware, and they leave the best for last. MVP winners yesterday. Your thoughts on who they picked?
Hardly a surprise. You knew fully well Shohei Ohtani of the Dodgers would win the National League One, and he's practically a runaway choice. And in the American League, it was Aaron Judge, and he was not a runaway choice. Judge and Cal Raleigh, the kid who hit 60 home runs for the Seattle Mariners, were right there in the hunt. But the difference was that Judge won the American League batting title, his very first one ever, and that was the key point. And he barely squeaked out in the voting by the baseball writers. But Ohtani is very interesting because this is his fourth most valuable player. The record is 7, and Barry Bonds holds that. But in Ohtani's case, he is the first player ever to win multi-MVPs in different leagues. He has 2 in the National and 2 in the American with the Los Angeles Angels. This guy's a pretty doggone good ball player, folks, and he certainly is worth watching, and that's why I just hope to the good heaven above that next year, after, well, just about a year from now, that a conclusion comes in the contract situation. There isn't one right now, but be that as it may, they are the two, Shohei Ohtani of the Dodgers and Aaron Judge of the Yankees.
What's your personal opinion? I think Cal got robbed. What do you think?
Well, 60 home runs is pretty good.
Yeah, but
and you have to take a look at what the meaning of the award is, most valuable player. And in my opinion, Cal Raleigh meant more to the Seattle Mariners than Judge did to the Yankees.
That's exactly right, and that's the complete picture. Aaron Judge is a great baseball player, and no one would argue that. But Cal, I think, had more of a complete season as a defender as well as an offender. So, you know, it's one of those things where it is subjective ultimately, and that is what it is. I'm sure that he hopefully will have another chance of getting it down the line. While all the hardware is being passed out, all the GMs are meeting. Anything new coming of that?
Yes and no. The general managers were meeting out in Las Vegas, and this is all 30 general managers in Major League Baseball, and you would think that maybe something would happen, but traditionally it does not. However, there's plenty of talking going on, and those general managers now leave, and they have left Vegas. They're now back to their home cities. They have a pretty good idea of who's going to be available and who's not when the winter meetings come in, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But as far as any moving and swapping and free agent signings, no, that did not happen and really wasn't expected to.
Well, this year is not so crucial. Next year is a lot more crucial. And what's in the agenda as far as that's concerned?
Well, there are 2 major events that are forthcoming here in the next couple of weeks. One is the owners meeting, and the owners meet quarterly in Major League Baseball, 4 times a year. And they're meeting next week in New York City. Now, player movement and all that and deals very, very rarely are discussed at these meetings. What will be discussed is the player's owner's contract, and that expires December the 1st of next year, 2026. When that happens, do we run into Armageddon? Who knows? But the owners will have one of their meetings, and a lot will be discussed at that one. Now, in terms of the next on the agenda is the Major League Baseball winter meetings, and that occurs December the 7th through the 10th in Orlando, Florida, and that is when everybody's there. All the clubs are represented, all the big shots, the owners, the general managers, the players. That's when a lot of dealing and swapping and free agent signings more than likely will take place.
How do you feel about the temperature right now?
Well, in terms of the owners and players, it's a little bit difficult because it still has a year to go. But I do know, and I've been told this by individuals who are involved, that they are talking, and that's the key right here. The big dividing point in this: the players do not want a salary cap. The owners want a salary cap. Where does the salary cap stand in all the other major league sports? They all have it. Everyone except baseball. And the baseball players do not want it. There's the sticking point. What'll happen? Maybe Abner Doubleday knows.
You know what, my friend? I don't think even he knows. But at the same time, I think you and I can both admit, for the most part, at least in this world now, hopefully those players understand that there's a lot of money to be lost if they start screwing with this.
They know.
will see.
They know, and the owners know.
Yeah, everyone hopefully knows that, and they don't want to mess around because I don't think baseball truly recovered from after the last big one. I really don't.
Well, they had record TV audiences this year for the World Series, but this is a bit of a different World Series because Canada was involved in it.
So was Japan.
And they do have in the spring the World Baseball Classic. It happens once every 4 years. This is the once in a fourth year that it will happen this spring. That's a big deal, and that'll have big audiences. Japan is the defending champion. So indeed, when you take a look at worldwide audiences, and I think it was, 251 million folks watched the World Series, you don't want to mess with that. You don't want to alienate that, and I'm afraid that might happen.
Well, hopefully someone's listening. Thursday night football game last night, not too terribly great. A little bit more offense in the Monday night game, at least, right?
I'll tell you what I like. You know, what fascinates me about that game. You know what the spread was?
It couldn't have been more than 21.
13.5.
Wow.
The Patriots were 13.5. The Patriots won by 13. Final score 27-14. New England beats the New York Jets. And it really wasn't that, Drake May, who's a very good young quarterback for the Patriots, had a big night. He was, I think, 25 of 34 through the air, had a touchdown. Trayvon Henderson, who is their big running back, and the Patriots are good, folks. They're a very good football team. He had a couple of touchdowns in the game. It was not a great game. The Jets, they get in there and they try hard, but they also make some really brutal mistakes out on the field because they're young and not really experienced, and they do have injury problems. They have won a couple of games this year, but the fact is that they're not really in a competitive circumstance as far as upsetting anybody is concerned. And the Patriots, I think, are probably headed for the playoffs. I like Mike Vrabel. He does a great job coaching this team. He's a player's coach. They like him. I think the Patriots are coming back.
Vrabel's done a great job with that team, and I think it's just they've got the right personnel at the right time, and sometimes that happens. They are definitely one of the dogs in the AFC. I will agree with that. What's going on with the bowl selection committee right now?
Really an incredibly bizarre situation. The chairman of the bowl committee is also the athletic director at Baylor. Yesterday, he took a leave of absence. Oh, wait a minute. He took a leave of absence this point in the football season and this point the second week into the bowl selections? This is Mac Rhodes who did this. Mr. Rhodes, I think, has some problems. Baylor won't allow as to what they are. It is on record that Rhodes, had a confrontation with one of the Baylor players early in the year about the equipment the guy was wearing, but I can't believe that would have been the reason. Anyway, he did step out. Rhodes is a former AD at Mizzou. He was a Missouri athletic director for 2 years, 2015 and 2016, and before he got the Baylor job. But to step away at this point, boy, that is strange. Anyway, the bowl committee now has a new chairman as of last night, Hunter Yurachek, who is the athletic director at Arkansas. He will take over, and they'll also add a new person onto that committee. This is really strange. I don't think it changes the scope of anything because you know pretty much who the good teams are going to be, but still to have a change in leadership at this time is very unusual.
It's got to be health related. It's got to be. Something like that. I mean, because
whatever it is, it's personal.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be something serious. Because again, at the timing, you definitely don't want that. But when it comes to your life or someone that's close to your life, I can understand why they'd want to make that decision. All right, we got 3 Division I college football teams playing tomorrow in the Ozarks. What are the odds?
Well, the Bears game, of course, is one of them. The Bears will play Texas El Paso at the Plaster Sports Complex. This is the homecoming game. I was told yesterday they're approaching the same kind of crowd they had for Southern Methodist earlier in the season. Things will be different. That Southern Methodist game was HOT, folks. It was 95 degrees. This one won't be, but it will be 75. And that's perfectly understandable, and the audience will love being there. Anyway, the Bears are a 4.5-point favorite over Texas El Paso. That is a trap game. The Bears have to play well. Missouri is playing Mississippi State up in Columbia. The Missouri Tigers, are a 7-point pick over Mississippi State. And at Baton Rouge, Louisiana, It would be a big win for Arkansas if they were to go down there and beat LSU, but LSU is favored. The Bayou Bengals 5.5-point pick over Arkansas. We will see what happens.
Governor's still running that team?
The governor runs the team and the school.
What a rodeo. Ned, you have a great weekend and go Chiefs.